It's GT The Vibe Podcast coming at you another episode. It's been a little bit, been a long week, long work week. It's getting hot as heck out here in Wichita, Kansas. We're going to talk about, so Doug Wilson, he has some good stuff. He says some good things every now and again, but he's talking about why is there a manhood crisis, essentially. So I'm going to let him talk, and then we'll talk, and then we'll give a little feedback, a little instant feedback here. Hold on.
Society today from men, that they seem to be living at home, playing video games, drinking beer. They're simply taking advantage of the change in social norm.
Live at home, man, I wish I could do that. 34 years old, I can't live at home and drink beer and play video games all day. It's can't do it. Somebody got to go work and pay the bills.
Now, you don't need to be married to have access to socially approved sex. You don't need to be married to have so high social status in society. Hookup culture is legitimated, all that stuff. So it's like they're basically saying they're just rationally responding to the incentive structures of society. People want men to act like the old set of rules. You behave as if the old set of rules are in effect, but everybody else is going to play by a different set of rules.
Basically, let me speak to that. So they want men to do all the things, right? I was watching this TikTok of this guy. He went out to eat with his wife for her birthday. Her wife brought some female friends with her. He's the only male at the table. There's 6 females. One was his wife, and it's her birthday, so he's he's gonna pay for his wife's food, obviously. He was talking about split the check, and these females got pissed. I might have to make a video on this later. They got absolutely upset. You need to pay for it because you're the only man at the table. So they want men to conform to the rules of old school traditional nature while they conform to whatever rules they want to. So pretty much men have to be the men of old while the other gender can basically do whatever they want to. They have a high expectation of us, right, but a lower expectation of themselves. You gotta have, if you're not bringing nothing to the table, you shouldn't expect nothing from the table. My mom always told me, don't come to the table with an empty plate. You come to the table of life with an empty plate, you don't deserve to take nothing from the table. But people want to just come take. I'm gonna come bring my plate to the table. I'm gonna take whatever's on the table off, and I'm out of here. I'm not gonna give anything. And so what happens is when you do that is now men start saying, forget it. I'm giving up. I'm just gonna cruise by and do what I do. And so now, it used to be the 80-20 rule. 80% of women wanted 20% of men. Now it's probably less than that now. It's probably less men because there's not a lot. There's not 20% of men that are doing what men are supposed to be doing, essentially. But like he said, you got an old set of rules that men are being held to, and while the other gender is adhering to whatever rules they want to. So you got hookup culture. You got the OnlyFans culture. You got feminism, and on high levels now transgenderism's coming in. And so basically they're like, well, we want men that pay for all our bills, that take care of us, that protect us, and yada yada yada. But then when men say, well, we want a woman who can take care of business at the house, somebody who can help us grow, can be that because essentially a helpmate is somebody that helps their mate. And so I think that women don't want to be helpmates. They want to wait at the finish line and wait for the finished product to come through, right? A lot of women won't dust off that dude, dust him off and help him build, because some women will see potential and they will go based on that. But most women, they have it set in their mind that they deserve something that's on this high level, and they just giving you this lower level. I think that if you expect high level of status or high level of effort or high level of anything for somebody else, then you need to be able to give exactly that. If you can't give that, you shouldn't expect that 110%. But I'm going to let them speak a little bit more.
Carved out this space for men to be irresponsible. We've removed all the incentives that they used to have to be responsible, but we're haranguing them to be responsible despite having removed all the incentives. And then on top of that, we've put a bunch of disincentives into the structure of marriage, where men are in effect legally and judicially disregarded, disrespected. So one of the things that I've noticed, one of the worst things, not the worst thing about the Roe v. Wade decision, but one of the terrible things about it was that it was the abortion of the American family, because a decision whether to have an abortion is made between a woman and her doctor. Whether she was married is irrelevant. Whether a man had promised to provide for her and her children forever was irrelevant.
That's a key point right there that he just made. So, you get a lot of people that talk about baby daddies don't do this and baby daddies ain't shit and all this and that and the other. And what I've realized in my experience is that kids are used against men, even when they're in the womb, right? A lot of times, I mean, you can be in a marriage with a woman, and if she don't want the kid, you want the kid. Guess what? You don't get a say. You don't have no say in that. And it's my body, my choice. You know what I mean? My body, my choice is the mindset, the mantra that's been spat out here. And the issue with that is, the problem with that is that those same people that say my body, my choice, were the same people saying we all need to get the jab. It needs to be mandatory for you to get the jab for COVID. And so it's only my body, my choice whenever it benefits you or your decision, right? And in my experience, I would never want to abort a kid ever. That's a conversation that would be obviously tough if I were to have it. But I wouldn't date anybody or be with anybody or be married to anybody that would want to do that. That would be something that would be a conversation that is had before you get into a relationship, because you don't want to end up down the road, you're 10 years married and now you want to have a kid, and you get a baby in there and she's like, well, I don't want to have a baby, and now the baby's aborted because she doesn't want to have a baby, and like that, so that'll cause a rift in your relationship. And so I think that whenever society changed to that mindset, changed to the let's hold men accountable to the rules of old. But if you say anything about the rules of old to women, it's a problem. You get canceled. You need to lose your job if you say anything about the rules of old to women. But while they're actively holding us to that standard, so they're actively holding us to a standard, and then when we can't even speak to a standard for them because they don't want to be held to a standard. They want to be able to do whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do, however they want to do it. And but they still want some of the things that you get from a traditional male, from a traditional man, that takes care of his family, takes care of his woman, make sure they're all fed, he'll bust his butt. I mean, that's biblical in the garden. That goes back to the Garden of Eden, because God literally told men, you're going to work, the sweat of your brow, you're going to work for everything that you got. He did not tell women you're going to work for everything that you got. He never said that. He put that on men. I wouldn't want, man, if I could be a stay-at-home dad, let me tell you, sign me up right now today. Like, the amount of stress that a lot of us men take on to make sure that everything, because at the end of the day, the buck stops at us. Like, if I decide one day that I'm going to quit and I don't want to work anymore, then all financials is depleted. And I think that people don't put enough value on what that actually means. I feel like, for in a relationship, when you're in a relationship, women won't put value on what that actually means. They'll be like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. Well, hold on, time out. Like, we don't have to do that for you. That is a privilege. That is something that we do it because that's what we believe in, right? And so you do have men that sit at home, play video games all day, beta males, stay at their mama's house. They be 25, 26, staying with their mama, beta males. Those are the type of men that beta males, bring up those type of men. That's the teachings of being a beta. And so that's the problem in society today, is that we got too many weak dudes out here living at their mama house, blaming feminism for everything that's gone wrong with men, when at the end of the day, man, if we hold ourselves accountable and then we hold women accountable, like if we just stop thinking that, I mean, if you stop thinking from a sexual standpoint and think what else do they bring to the table for you, you will look at them totally different as a man. And so you will put yourself in a position where you not settling for the BS, you not settling for less. Like, you gonna keep it pushing. Like, if that's it, that's all it is sex, that's all they bring to the table, then you're going to put yourself in a position, right, where that's what you're glorifying, and that your relationship will be glorified through that. Then you'll have to keep having sex all the time for you to be able to continue in a successful relationship.
Relevant. He was not consulted. Fatherhood was essentially aborted legally. So you could say the woman is now in complete control of whether that man's child lives or dies, and that was enshrined in law. So men are starting to say, okay, you're paying me to be permanently irresponsible. You're going to penalize me if I try to be responsible. Why should I do that?
That's good. Fatherhood is aborted, essentially, and we don't even get the choice in that. And a lot of times you don't even get the choice of that. If the kid is born, then you end up not being with the mom of the kid, right? Fatherhood is still can be. I mean, the kid can be used against you. Like, and that's the crazy thing, is that, you know, in my line of work, I deal with a lot of women who use kids against men. Like, women will tell you and swear up and down that they're not vindictive, that they're not that type of person. But then when you put them in a situation where they can be that type of person, you find out that they are that type of person. And so then men, being totally emasculated and getting weaker, we just quit battling. Like, we give up. It's easy to just give up. I'm just going to give up now because this is too hard. And even with the men go their own way movement, like, that's for beta males right there. That's for dudes who don't understand what it means to be a man. Like, if you understand what it means to be a man, you're going to operate differently. You're not going to take the levels of disrespect. You're not going to take the evil anger that comes out of women. Like, you're not going to take that. If you truly man up, and I think that's something that we got to work on as men. We have to truly man up, but we have to stop allowing ourselves to be held to a higher standard up here, but we don't hold them to a higher standard. We just okay with whatever. At the point in time where you switch that mindset and you become less okay with whatever, you can have some success out here. But it takes that type of mindset. Like, you have to be, you have to understand that you bring something to the table, you're gonna expect something in return. I mean, at the end of the day, because like I tell my friends, I'm like, whenever a female says she has a new man, they ask where he work. Where does he work? What does he do? They want to know, can he provide for you, right? That's the number one thing that they want to know, is can he provide for you? But then when a dude, you know, he's, oh my God, this chick, they're like, man, what she look like? You know what I'm saying? So that is part of the problem, is that we put ourselves into a bind where that's all we do is worry about what she look like. As long as she look good, we straight. She might not have her soul might be not good. She may not bring anything to the table with you. She may not even be wife material, but just because she look good and your homies is going to be cool with it, they dapping you up on it. We got to change that mindset. We have to change that mindset. So, is manhood in crisis? Absolutely, positively, yes it is. Can it be fixed? Absolutely, positively, yes it can. I mean, it's the newer generation. It's the older generation giving them wisdom and understanding of the type of stuff that we've had to deal with over the years. Even men in their 60s, 70s, like telling dudes like me in my 30s, hey man, this is what the expectation is. This is what we used to do, right? This is how it used to be. This is how we operated. And then we just got to kind of like zone out on all the feminist crap that's being played out here and pushed out here. So, but that was a pretty good little short chat with those two guys. A little quick synopsis of what they're talking about. If you like our stuff, please like, subscribe to the channel, comment below, put all your, we love feedback on what you guys think, what you guys want to hear us talk about. I'll be back with the crew later on this week. This is GT The Vibe Podcast. Peace.